Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
25 years ago yesterday, Penn State beat North Carolina in the Superdome to advance to the Sweet 16. We all know that a critical player on that team was obviously Joe Crispin, all 1,986 points of his. 25 years to the day, Joe Crispin is then announced as the head basketball coach at Air Force. It's a great move for Joe. Great move for his family, too. Joe wants to be a Division I head coach. And being at Penn State really helped him. And he will change Air Force basketball in this way. Air Force basketball is a lot like watching how Navy and Army, and to a point Air Force, how they play football. There's a certain way they felt they had to play. Air Force felt that they had to play basketball using the Princeton style over and over and over again. They made one Princeton hire after another. And he is 180 of that. Expect Air Force to fire up 30 to 35 threes in a game. And if they lose, they lose. But there are going to be some games that they win. And because they won 3 games this year. 3. I normally like my Air Force to have a higher winning percentage. All right. No, they won 3 games this year. That's it. And I know when Joe was considering the job, he asked me about it, and I gave him a couple of names of people that I knew had worked at Air Force, right, including Ron Vanderlinden, who lives here. Right? I said, look, they worked there. They can at least tell you what it's like, what the working environment is at the place. And he said he felt it was intriguing to him, and they were intrigued by him because they need to change how they play. And I said, look, it's also an interesting time to go out there because the conference is changing. Some of the key members of that conference that are good at basketball, Boise State, you may not realize, is good at basketball. They're very good. San Diego State, people like that, they're leaving the Mountain West. They're going to the revamped, brand new Pac-12. So the Mountain West is actually changing, and some of the better teams in the Mountain West have left for the revamped Pac-12. I said, look, they still get an automatic bid. You're still around there. And look, you go 500 at Air Force, they make you a rear admiral. Right? Yeah. You at one point were a petty officer, I believe.
That's right.
It felt like you achieved something.
I at least owned a Sports Illustrated. I'm an admiral in David Robinson.
Yeah. So he gets the job. That means Mike has a spot on his coaching staff to fill. And I'm thrilled for Joe, thrilled for
Absolutely.
his family.
No doubt.
He gets a chance to be a head coach at a Division I program in a beautiful area. Colorado Springs
is nice.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Beautiful area. No, there you go. But I just thought the timing of it, 25 years to the day since the win over North Carolina in the Superdome. So they win the game. It was a night game.
Sunday. Yep.
It was a night game. And the bus, is inside the Superdome. And so after everything settles, I get on the bus, and they had a kid who was a transfer from William & Mary who didn't play much, named Jared Houston. In fact, I think the one time he played in postseason was the opening game of the Big Ten tournament against Michigan, and Penn State was up 2 and had to go 94 feet, and Jerry Dunn put Jared in the game to guard the ball because he was 7 feet tall. And Michigan couldn't get a shot off, and Penn State won the game in advance and then beat Michigan State. So Jared Houston's on the bus, and this is in the early days of cell phones, but a little bulkier version. And Houston came from some money. He had one. He's talking to his buddies in State College. Now, this is Sunday night. And so he stops and he goes, "Hey, everybody, listen up." He says, "You won't believe it. They're riding over basketball in State College." They're like, "Hey, all right." I said, they're like, "Oh, my God." And they had, God, a couple thousand people at the airport waiting. Right? It's kind of hard to sneak out the back of the plane. So, yeah. And that was really cool. But so 25 years to the day, and he gets the job at Air Force as a head coach. And as Joe said to me, T texted, we didn't talk, we texted yesterday. And I said, when I brought that up, he says, March 18th's been good to me. So, all right. So that means Mike now has to decide how he wants the staff to be. Does he want to hire somebody to come in and be that offensive coordinator? Does he move somebody else into that position and then hire somebody else? I mean, those are decisions Mike will have to make on the staff moving forward because, look, I mean, this is evaluation time. This is talking about your players' time. This is internally talking about who you need to keep, how much money you need to go with them, what kind of contract can you put together? Should you be fortunate enough to keep them? And then what do I need to get in the portal? I mean, that's where it is right now. This is game day. The next 2 days are the two greatest days in college basketball.
Certainly are.
16 games today, followed up by 16 games tomorrow. It starts at noon, and then it ends a little bit after midnight. Yeah. So this is where we are. College basketball's biggest day. And TV, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing in terms of who they schedule when.
Sure.
Right? They don't do a good job of understanding that you can't make people sit in the stands forever waiting for you to do it. College football.
Well, you can't make people sit on the sidelines waiting for them to do it in college football either.
Yeah.
Kickoff times.
Yeah. So, when you look at like 8-9, TCU's playing Ohio State, but one of the things that's interesting about this tournament happened to be the number of people that are like key players that are hurt. Except for like a team like Duke, for the most part, all the power teams are older, and you don't find that. That's why upsets have happened in the past. The older teams have always been the lesser teams on the line. The 13 seed, the 12, the 11. They have older players than the 4 seed. Duke will play Siena. Jerry McNamara will be on the sideline. It's problematic when your coach might be your best player. So
it's true.
Did I ever tell you that story?
No.
Okay. So we had a box at PNC Park, and the Pirates were playing the Marlins.
Oh, yeah, you did. Yep.
I've told you this story.
Yep.
Right? And it was on the first base side. And that means we're behind the Marlins dugout. There's a group of people in there. I says, check that guy out down there. I says, that is the Marlins' best player.
Uh-huh.
And people were like, Really? Who is it?
Now the Phillies hitting coach. I'm quite happy about that.
Right? Who is that? He says, Don Mattingly, the manager. I said, that's not a good sign when your best player, your best hitter is actually the manager. All right. Ohio State plays TCU. Bruce Thornton, he's not going to be a first-round pick. In fact, he will be a guy that might be between 48 and 60, maybe, in the draft.
Yep.
Well, I've watched and announced 4 years of Bruce Thornton. And I want to tell you right now, this guy is a terrific college basketball player. Right. How that translates to the pros, it doesn't matter on this particular day. But this guy is 19 points a game. The last 2 seasons, it's great to hit 41% of your threes in a season. That's what he's done over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
He's just really good. Really, really good. And that game's on CBS. That's the opening game at 12:15. And Ohio State is playing TCU. McNeese, Vanderbilt. Okay. Vanderbilt, I think, is really good. Okay? And Tyler Tanner is a big reason why. I mean, very impressive. He's a 6-foot guard. And when you look at him, this is his sophomore season. He's just really gotten to be good. And he's averaging 20 points per game. This is a 6-foot guard. Okay? It's 62%. Yikes. Hawaii, Arkansas. This is the Darius Acuff game. First of all, show of hands. Does anybody know anything about Hawaii basketball? There are people in Oahu who aren't sure. Acuff, down the stretch. Was there a freshman down the stretch? I know DeBanza kept scoring over 20. But was there a freshman down the stretch playing better than Darius Acuff? 23 points, 60% from the field, 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio? Yikes. Later today, TNT, no Caleb Wilson. VCU plays North Carolina. Now, Visar is still look. I think a lot of people think he's an NBA prospect, and this should be a game they get by. I don't think North Carolina makes the second weekend. That's me. Michigan and Howard. Howard looked really good in game one. Howard looked really good in game one. Howard looked really good in game one. They will always say they won a game. Michigan is going to run these people out of the building.
Absolutely.
I mean, that front line for Michigan.
Yeah.
Morris Johnson is projected as a first-rounder. Marr is projected as a late first-rounder. Lendenborg is projected as a lottery pick. That's their front line.
That's their front line.
And they have a pass first.
Yeah.
Oh, and good enough to do his own deal shooting wise, point guard Elliot Cadeau.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And and I think McKinney will be the other key guy because, as I said the other day, I mean Burnett, he's just another guy. All right. Cheddar is a one-trick pony. He's a three-point shooter. That's good. I mean, you have to have guys.
You have to have that when you have
to have
line
guys
as
like
effective
that.
as they are. Absolutely.
All right. Texas and BYU. Yes, Texas bailed you out.
Oh, did they ever?
Right?
Yep.
Mark hit that big shot.
Got them going to the Sweet 16.
All right, yeah. Well, you better hope Dalen Swain comes up big for you, buddy boy.
I'll tell you what.
All right.
I'm not confident. But
So you got DeBanza, who had more 20-point games than anybody in college basketball this year, just ahead of Nick Martinelli of Northwestern. They kind of went back and forth down the stretch. Well, DeBanza ended up playing an extra game, and that's what did it. But that should be on TBS tonight, a very interesting game. Illinois plays tonight as well. Keaton Wagler is a guy that I think recruiting-wise was like 146, maybe? And now the latest mock draft has him going number 6. I thought he played tired in the Big Ten tournament. In watching him. He didn't actually, to be honest with you, against Penn State in the Palestra, he played only okay. Boswell played great. Boswell is a terrific defensive player. And Illinois' got length. The Avicic brothers, the V. Miricic. You add in, because I thought Stojakovic played pretty well in the Big Ten tournament. So, really good. Idaho, Houston. Yeah, Kingston Flemings. A lot of people think he is right now the consensus 5th overall pick in the draft. He did not play well in the Big 12 tournament, especially against Arizona. And I'm watching him play, and he's kicking the leg out, gets worn. He's kicking the leg out, getting out. And they're not giving him fouls because he's the one kicking. Then he did a split on one, trying to over-accentuate that he got fouled. And the officials are looking at him like, what are you doing?
They're not gonna.
Kelvin took him out, benched him.
As he should have.
Kelvin benched him. And they'll play Idaho tonight, and they will destroy them.
Absolutely.
I feel like Ivan Drago, you lose. Okay. But, yeah. So, the pro day was yesterday. God, when they took you out in cuffs, I was kind of it's kind of like the highlight of the day.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you. Spectator eyes turned quickly. Man.
I'll tell you right now, that GoFundMe paid off, though.
That did. It sure did.
We got you out.
Dewey Cheatham and Howe came through again. I'll tell you.
I think it kind of played out the way I thought it would. Now part of it is too because I had talked to several of the players the day before because I was over in Lash the day before, so I knew, for example, that like Katron was not going to run, Zane wasn't going to run. I already assumed certain guys weren't going to run, I asked Zane Tuesday. I said you're not going to run another one, are you? He says no, because it may have been his second fastest time ever. But he put up a number. That's all you needed to do.
Exactly.
All right? He put up a number that people, in other words, he put up a number where people went, whoa, okay. How about that? Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Well, you do that, you're done. You don't have to put up any more numbers.
Yes.
Nick Singleton, in talking to him Tuesday, was telling me how much better he felt. I mean, he felt a lot better. So he did do the bench press yesterday. He cranked out 25 reps.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking 25 reps. He did 25 and a half. He was trying to get that 26th one in there. He couldn't quite get it, but he had 25 reps. It's the only thing he could do at this point. But as I was talking to his dad yesterday, I said, Tim, I said they got 4 years of video on the guy. I said, you can't figure out the guy's good? I said, there's video. You could do all these three cone drills, and because I know Zaki did all of them yesterday. Zaki ran a 40. So he did everything yesterday. Now I knew his 40 time was going to be whatever, but rack up a tape or a video. I mean, at least I'm not using film anymore.
I still say that word sometimes.
Right.
I still say it sometimes.
All you have to do is rack up a video, watch his instincts, and watch his hands. Wheatley has great hands.
Yeah, instinct too. Yep.
And What was his number yesterday? 4.6?
Around there, yeah.
Let me see. I've got the numbers. I've got all the numbers here. They actually are put out. Yeah, here it is. Here are the numbers. Ding, 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 ding. All the numbers from yesterday. Come on.
4.62 was Wheatley's.
Yeah, 4.62 was Wheatley. So he runs 4.62, but he plays 4.5.
Yeah.
Because of his instincts.
Yeah. And that's what I'm going to judge a lot more when it comes to whether or not I'm going to draft somebody. What are their instincts? What are their ball hawking abilities? Yeah. I'm not concerned that he fell down an inch on his vertical.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching what he did on. Yeah, there's no doubt.
I mean, Drew did a good job throwing yesterday. I think Drew has solidly put himself into the second day.
I agree. Yeah, showed his arm strength. Showed he was healthy. I thought that was big.
Yeah. So, but what he did was he did a good. He had a little bit of a slow start in Indianapolis. Then the last 2/3 of it, he was outstanding.
Absolutely.
So, you then come back 2.5, 3 weeks later, and you're better. And believe me, I mean, there was a pretty good crowd around him yesterday. Right? That's when you get tossed down. You can't go over screaming, "Throw me the ball, throw me the ball." You can't.
I was open.
But you can't do that. Okay? You're open for a reason.
That's what my midget football coach used to tell me, too.
You are open for a reason, my man. So there wasn't really anything yesterday that, I mean, look, certain guys had to show something yesterday. Like, Kyron Hudson had to show something. Devontae Ross did. Trevor Pena did. I mean, Gabe Wosu was able to punt for them yesterday. Again, look at the tape. Nolan Rucci did, and did his stuff. But for example, like Drew Shelton was out at the combine. So he did some workouts yesterday, but he did not do anything when it came to, speed or the high jump. He already did that stuff at the combine, and and those numbers are fine. And so, and Venga didn't have to do a single thing yesterday. He did do some of the workouts, right? Like in terms of running plays, things like that. That agility. That was it. Same thing with Zane. He didn't have to. Denai didn't have to. Dom DeLuca, of course, had to. And Dom ran a 4.63. And now they're positioned. I mean, there's going to be a lot of Penn State players picked. A lot of Penn State players picked. And I mean, sometimes I wonder, like they do, they make you do all these things: 3-cone drill, broad jump, go up, how high can you jump, 40-yard dash time, things like that. So they make you do all these things. Sometimes I wonder if they just do it just because they've got more data on you, but I don't.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
I mean, if you can't watch, I mean, I do want to know the bench press thing. I do want to know. I realize 3-cone is agility, so I've got that, and I do understand how high do you jump. The broad jump thing I could care less about.
Yep.
How high you can jump, because you have to high, especially if you're a DB or, I mean, I don't care if you're even rushing the passer. I mean, can you get up in the air and you get blocked at the line of scrimmage, you can jump up and knock a ball down. Can you high point a ball? All right, 40-yard dash. I mean, so I want to see that stuff, but then I think part of it is if you're really good at it, you then marry it to what you see on a video.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt. It's
because I can tell you right now who the 40-yard dash has hurt a lot over the years. SEC players.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you talking about? SEC players are drafted left and right. Say, excuse me. How often are we told this guy cranked out whatever time, and all of a sudden they get to the combine like, he's 4'8".
Yeah. And the other part of
the
it
TV
is
people were telling me he's 4'3".
Yeah.
It's like,
the other part of it is speed's not everything. You have wide receivers that can run, outrace a deer in a lot of cases, and they can't catch a ball. So that's the other part of why. It's the other part of why numbers, do they matter? Sure, a little bit, but they're not the be all end all.
Yeah, I just think it's because. I talked to a couple players afterward yesterday, and like 3 of them looked at me and said, "Who's that guy that was hauled down?" I said, "No." And they all, it's the same thing every year. They all said the same things I hear every year. They're glad it's over with.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, they're glad it's over with because all of them have been training. Now, Drew's been training to throw the ball.
Sure.
But everybody else has been training to do those drills.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay? All those guys have been training to do those drills.
Yeah.
Right? And does it matter to me that there's a tenth or 2/10
No.
between a guy in a 3-cone drill compared to somebody else? If they're in the same neighborhood, they're in the same neighborhood.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's not, and I compare it to, people say, oh, can you compare it to a basic student? Yeah, you can. You compare it to taking the SAT, where do you have to do it? Absolutely. Are you glad it's over with? Absolutely. But my full body of work isn't the SAT. It's everything I did the 4 years in high school prior to that.
Yeah, but it was only 9 letters. How did you foul up your name?
Yep, completely. I'll tell you.
It's only 9 letters.
That was when I learned you got 200 points for putting your name on it, but how to do it correctly.
He actually scored very high in his SATs. So, especially math, right? You're really good at math.
I did. Math, I was phenomenal. Yeah, the verbal critical reading part, I didn't read critically enough, apparently. Other than that, yeah, not bad. Yeah, not bad. Got me in here, at least. Here being radio and here being Penn State as well. But yeah, I think that's the one thing I always compared.
This is not a Phi Beta Kappa staff. You
that's
know
right.
That, right?
That's why I did graduate with high distinction. I did have that go for me. But that's people have always asked. A couple people have asked to compare it to a normal student, and that's the best comparison I could do. I think that's where, that's one day that can it affect your status? Sure, it can, but it doesn't judge who you are and what you're. Yeah.
It's all subjective.
Completely.
Okay. I like this player.
Yeah.
Right. Just give me some numbers like, okay, they're good enough.
Yeah.
I like that
exactly.
player.
Yeah, and you've seen enough of that player. It's not as if they're coming to see a player, not because they're coming to, well, in some cases, that it may be the case, but they're coming to Pro Day to see the final spots of a lot of these players. Not necessarily, I'm looking at this guy for the first time. If you are, you haven't followed college football. Right. Those guys that are on the field have been there year in and year out.
You're also coming in to see the guys that didn't combine.
Exactly.
Right?
Absolutely.
That have a chance to be your 4 through 7 round picks. Somebody that you're looking at that impresses you that as an undrafted free agent you're going to bring into camp.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you're going. You're doing your due diligence there because the roster is not 1 through 22.
No.
You have to have other people that you're going to have to bring into camp either as a 4 through 7 draft pick or as an undrafted free agent. I'll give you an example. Guy that was a 4th or 5th round pick, Kobe King.
Yeah.
Kobe was there yesterday. And I said, you look good. I said, your weight looks really good because he's lost a few pounds. Yeah. He says, because he wants to make sure he picks up a half step going back into camp. Right? But there's a guy who came in. He had to do his pro day stuff here, right, and impressed people enough where he ended up being a 3rd day pick. Well, he's still in the league. That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and that's and I use the example of look at what Mitchell Tinsley did last year for the Bengals. Yes. He signed the contract with the Commanders and
to start
undrafted. Yeah, to start out, but. What he was able to do last year with the Bengals, I thought he was a huge help.
Oh, he was a huge help. By the way, I saw Sean Clifford yesterday, and he told me that Jordan Stout's getting married this weekend.
Okay.
Out in Palm Springs.
Oh, nice.
Right. They said they were trying to deliver an invitation for you, and I just gave him the address of the county lockup. I didn't.
I'll tell you. Yeah. It's got return to sender from both Cliffords. Got return to sender. I can't figure it out.
But yeah, see, he told it's. I mean, imagine how Jordan's feeling.
Oh, there's no question.
I mean, they just signed
big deal.
Signed a record deal for a punter, and getting married this weekend. You know, so I mean, Sean, Liam, they're all going out, so it's great. I mean, this Stout's a great guy. And I was talking with Terry Smith yesterday, and it's a funny moment because the two of us are standing there, and they had the interview area off to our right, and we're standing out in the field. And Tyler Dzansky's over there. Now, Dzansky is going to get a long look from teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Chris Stahl and his success, he just signed
Super Bowl champion.
Right?
Yeah.
But he just signed a nice contract with Seattle, too.
Yeah.
Right? His success makes you want to look at Dzansky, and Dzansky is right there with Chris, right? And he'll be in a camp, and I'm telling you, Dzansky's, I think, is going to get a job. I do. It's just a gut feeling, but I think so. But so he's standing there. There are a few people around him, and all of a sudden, this wave, this pack goes walking by, right? And Terry and I are looking over, and he says, Steve, which guy's over there? I said, not sure. And then all of a sudden, Terry says, it's Nick. It was Singleton. So there's this pack around Nick Singleton. And now there's down to two guys with Dzansky. And Terry looks at me and says, Steve, assistant coach, head coach, assistant coach. Oh,
that is the truth.
God. Terry told me he's speaking this weekend at the Children's Museum in Pittsburgh, and he's taking Haley with him.
Nice.
They're speaking together, and it's about autism, and it's the two of them they're going to make the speech together. I said, what a thrill. But yeah.
Absolutely.
The the Steelers proposed a rule change. Who cares? Right. They proposed a lot of rule changes. So there you are. Pro day's over with. Coaching move. Joe Crispin. I would think that by the end of the week, there'll be, it's not much time left in the week, but we're not. Let me put it this way: they're extremely close on a women's basketball coach. I'll leave it at that. And let's see, and the women's ice hockey Frozen Four is tomorrow. Yeah. If you go by Pagula, you see all the signage up there, which is great. Penn State will play Wisconsin in the opening game. Or excuse me, the second game. That's the 7:30 game. Northeastern and Ohio State's the opening game. And then Wisconsin and Penn State will play in the second game at 7:30 tomorrow for the right to go to the championship on Sunday. So this is going to be the big weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Tessa Janicki is one of the three finalists for the National Player of the Year. And they're going to announce that on Saturday, as a matter of fact. The Patty Kiermaier Award, something like that. But, yeah.
Yeah, a lot going on with that.
Let's quickly get into the Miami of Ohio win last night. They attempted 41 threes in the game. 41. We talked about injuries before. Edwards was out. B.J. Edwards was out for SMU. There were a lot of questions to Andy Enfield after the game about his status. Not Andy Enfield's status, about B.J. Edwards' status. He's a terrific defensive player, averages about 13 a game. And one of their better three-point shooters, like 37%. And they kept indicating, and the committee, remember, the head of the committee, Gill, was saying that they were the last team in, and Edwards' availability was actually part of their decision. Well, he didn't play last night. Andy Enfield said he looked really good in practice, but he wasn't game ready. Okay. I think the claim is now he could have played Friday. Let me put it this way. He's not playing Friday. Unless it's some pickup game somewhere. And when you're... but the bottom line is how Miami played last night. Miami played hard.
Yep.
I mean, both teams did, but Miami played hard. They played well. They made a subtle adjustment to start. They got it to a slow start in the second half, shooting the ball, so they made a subtle adjustment and did more inside stuff before going back outside. The three-point shooting spread the floor. They got layups off of it because you had to go out and, they can put 5 three-point shooters on the floor. And they started getting back cuts because of the spacing. And they played great. Now they go to Philadelphia. So they're going to take that Miami of Ohio bandwagon, which only had to go like an hour and a half, hour 45 from Oxford over to Dayton.
Yeah.
Now they're going to go to Philadelphia. We're going to take the show there, and they will play tomorrow. Hey, 32-1.
Yeah, 32-1. You're obviously going to be tested in a big way tomorrow. I think against a team that can probably make some noise in the tournament, and I think in a little bit.
The crowd will not be with the team you're talking about.
No, they will not be. No, that's. And look, you got it. Sometimes you play the when you get to the tournament, it is you can never fully play the disrespected card, but yeah, Miami of Ohio can play the underdog role. There's no question about that. When now, and you have a team that is 32-1. You're one of the last teams in, not the last, but one of the last couple in. I think without a doubt you could use that as motivation. And use that as if you're in the tournament. First of all, if you need motivation, I'm concerned, but you certainly can play the underdog role.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're in, and they go to Philadelphia now.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, all it proved is last night was UMass is better than SMU. No, I'm just kidding. But now they get Tennessee.
It'd be interesting to see a Philadelphia crowd. First of all, the crowd's going to be pro Miami of Ohio, as you said. It'd be interesting to see a Philadelphia crowd for the tournament.
I've been there.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, I've been there.
I've been there as well. I saw Duke get knocked off by USC there. I think it's...
I saw Florida Gulf Coast beat Georgetown.
Yep.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I covered that because Duke played early. That was Duke played earlier.
Yep.
In the day, you knew that was going to be an easy game. Creighton had they had Doug McDermott, right, and they were in a tough game. San Diego State was there, but then Florida Gulf Coast beat Georgetown with Otto Porter.
Yep.
Georgetown was a 3 seed.
Yep.
Florida Gulf Coast was a 14. When you're in the building, it doesn't matter whether it's a conference tournament or it's the NCAA tournament. and suddenly an underdog has a chance to do something. Because it's multiple fan bases sitting in the arena.
Yep.
I mean, when Penn State beat Texas A&M,
yeah,
you don't think the Texas fans suddenly weren't blue and white fans?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every three that Andrew Funk and Miles Dredd hit, all right, Seth Lundy hit, Jalen Pickett hit. All these Penn State fans going crazy. Wait, who's that group? All the Texas fans. Yeah. The Kansas fans. Yeah. They're all like,
no doubt about it.
Because they wanted them out of there.
Absolutely.
They don't want that team there. So all these fans, Georgetown 3C, get rid of them. It's one more good team that's out. Take care of it. And suddenly the entire building, except for a sliver of Georgetown fans, are rooting for Florida Gulf Coast. They're suddenly out of nowhere. It felt like Fort Myers times 3.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And Philadelphia crowd, too, as a whole. You're never going to have, as big as the Final Four has gotten, you're never going to have a Final Four in Philadelphia, obviously, because you need a stadium, and Lincoln Financial Field doesn't have a roof. So, but
the closest you'll get to a Final Four in that area, eventually will be when the DC Stadium
is built. Yeah,
that'll be
Lucas Oil right now probably, but the DC Stadium.
But because the DC Stadium is supposed to be a dome stadium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, they'll get a Final Four.
Yeah. And I think ultimately we will see a new stadium at some point in Philadelphia. As good as the Link is, we're in an era now where every 20 years you're seeing a new stadium. Lincoln Financial Field was 2003, and it's still a beautiful stadium. One of the best in sports.
Yeah, I don't want to get too sidetracked here. You see the White Sox are looking at some rail yard?
Yeah.
Like, this would be like their third stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I didn't understand why. And that Mercedes-Benz is beautiful. The Georgia Dome wasn't that old either.
Yeah,
and that's the.
Oh no, I know that's the. I actually did an NCAA tournament game in the Georgia Dome. In 2001, 25 years ago.
Never been to the Georgia Dome. Was never at the Georgia Dome. I will never be there.
It's a parking lot.
Yep,
now.
it is.
And I remember the Peach Bowl. We're walking in the back lot area because they wanted Jack and I to speak at the pep rally. So we had to go over to World Congress. So we had to walk. We just were at practice at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And so we go from the Mercedes-Benz Dome and we walk across and we cut through the back. And I said, you know what? I said, you've had a long career when you're walking through a back area. And I did a basketball game actually on this surface here. He says, you did? I said, yeah, this is where the Georgia Dome was. I said, they're tearing down stadiums I've done games in.
Tearing down stadiums we've seen just built. That's the unbelievable part of it.
The Georgia Dome was like, whoa, we got the Georgia Dome. I kill it, get rid of it. we got a better one with the roof opens like this.
It's insane.
The roof opens like,
yeah, literally.
Hey, okay.
You
come obsolete in a short period of time. But yeah, Miami of Ohio, they're going to have 75% of that arena
easily
is going to be rooting for them, if not 85%.
Yep, I agree.
Because there's outside of people wearing orange, there is nobody in that arena is going to be rooting for Tennessee outside of the people wearing orange and knowing the words to Rocky Top. Okay? Everybody else is going to be like, they couldn't tell you in a million years what town Miami of Ohio is in or where it's located in Ohio. But they're all going to be fans of that arena for them. Where are they located? I actually started to Skip, who's the chief of staff for football the other day. We were talking about, because he loves hockey. And Bowling Green, of course, is great at hockey. And we're talking about Doc Emmerich. And he said, you ever been to Bowling Green? I said, yeah. I said, I actually did a basketball game at Bowling Green. He goes, really? He said, the new building? I said, no, it's got to be the old building. It was 92. He goes, yeah, the old building. I said, but I also did games at Toledo. And I did a game at Miami of Ohio. He said, you did a game in Millett Hall? I said, yeah, I actually did a game there. That was when Penn State was scrambling to get a schedule in that 1 year where they were independent between the Atlantic 10 and the Big 10.
In the Big 10, yeah.
So they did a home and away with Old Dominion. They did a home and away with Butler. So, yeah, I did a game at Hinkle Fieldhouse. I did a game at James Madison when Lefty Drizel was the coach. When Lefty was the coach. Penn State lost that game in overtime. And I did that swing Toledo, Bowling Green, Miami of Ohio. I was like, geez. Because they were just trying to get whatever they could get.
Yeah.
That would never happen today.
No.
Never happen today. Realize that Penn State is the last team that will ever be voted into the Big Ten that had no votes.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
Because they've changed everything on this, and they're so much better organized. I mean, the organization with which they did it, and I had a long talk with Stanley Eikenberry about a year and a half ago, and he just happened to be here, and and we just talked, all right, and everybody at that level was like, yeah, this is great. But the problem was they didn't communicate it to the athletic level. Like Bo Schembechler, and I never once talked to Bo Schembechler in my life, so I got this from John Bacon.
Same here.
Okay, so John Bacon was telling me Bo actually really liked Penn State, and he said he had great respect for Joe. He said it was just purely based on Penn State and purely based on Joe. He said would have voted yes on a heartbeat. He says, but as a matter of principle, he said, keeping us out of the loop, that's why they voted no. They voted no because of the process. Yeah. So there you go. Jerry Valeri filled out his bracket. He's got Murray State winning it.
He does.
They're not in the tournament.
No. Prairie View isn't either. I don't know how he made it to that Final Four with them.
Oh. No, they're Prairie View A&M's in it.
They're in it.
Yeah, they beat Lehigh last night.
Yeah, so they're in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything, we're moments away from the start of it. There's nothing like announcing it from a personal point of view. You go in there and it's like I felt the same way with the college football playoff.
Yeah, that was special. It was very cold that day, no question about it. That hurt some things, but that was a special day, no doubt.
But you know that you are announcing something that is involved in the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they weren't going to win. Just knock it off. Okay,
it doesn't matter.
Okay, you're announcing something that involves the national championship.
Yes.
And so, can you win today and keep your national championship hope alive?
Absolutely.
So we're talking about 25 years ago, Penn State. So 25 years ago today, there were only 16 teams remaining that could win the national title.
Yeah. Going into a game with the spot in the Elite Eight on the line against a team you beat in the regular season.
By the time Penn State played the game, I think they played Temple on the Friday night.
Friday night, because it was a Sunday. It went to Friday,
Yeah. So that meant already it was down to 12 because four were knocked out the night before.
Yeah.
Well, Michigan State beat Gonzaga in the first game. So now it's down to 11.
Yeah.
I went on the air knowing that there were only 11 teams left that could win the national title, and Penn State was one of them.
Yeah. And you potentially would have saw two teams you saw already.
And keep in mind, they'd already beaten Temple, and they'd already beaten Michigan State.
And they were playing, and they could have played.
So you know when you're in that. So Penn State in the college football playoff last year, when they beat SMU, okay, you're playing for the national title. They beat SMU. They're still playing for the national title. There's 8 teams left. You beat Boise State.
You're the first team in the second round knowing you're going to the semifinals.
When you do the Notre Dame game, there's only 4 teams left that can win the national title. See, that's what's great about this. It's not just the one and done aspect of it. It is the advancement possibility of it, which is not talked about enough. One and done, it's one and done. Yeah, it is one and done, but there's also the advancement possibility. You win, and you're a step closer. And that's what's fun and intriguing about it. Yeah. Yeah, and I thought Penn State had a real shot 3 years ago at the Sweet 16. The game against Texas, I mean, the big kid for Texas really hurt Penn State. Right? And it turned out it was the last game he played. He got hurt in the warm-ups. I don't know how he played the game. Penn State's leading with less than 4 minutes to go in the game. Seth Lundy stole the ball, went in for a layup. Penn State's in front. Terry called timeout. You're like, they got a real shot here. You're playing for, but you're in the national tournament. It doesn't, like, for example, Howard won the other night. They beat UMBC. Okay? Now, is Howard a prohibitive underdog? Of course they are. Are they expected to win? No. But they're
Doesn't
still
mean they don't have a chance.
But they're still in it. Crazy things happen in 40 minutes.
Absolutely.
Crazy things happen in football in 60 minutes. You don't know.
Agreed.
That said, James Madison and Tulane should not have been in. All right, so I'm sorry. They were better teams. God, when I had to go and bail you out yesterday, I have to admit, it's one of the lowest moments of my life.
I'll tell you.
Can't you control yourself at these things?
I'll tell you.
I'm around NFL guys.
I was wide open. I was literally wide open.
I repeat, for a reason. And when it comes to your speed,
well, you could time that with a sundial.
Ask yourself why you were so easily caught. All right, back tomorrow.